friends, welcome back to another video. I am so excited to take you along as I vlog my very realistic reading life this week. If you're new here, my name is Shelby. I love to read and I love to share all of the cozy reading homey things, and so I hope you'll enjoy this video and thank you for being here. I have had the worst time with my screen time recently. I, full disclosure, spent 34 hours on my phone last week, and to be fair, I've had a lot of things going on in my personal life, so sometimes a doom scroll is just needed, but that is a little bit excessive, and it has been my wake-up call to really change what my habits are. I used to post monthly resets on my channel, and I would love to get back to that eventually. For now, this week, I'm sort of combining a lot of video ideas. I'm gonna be resetting my habits, kind of brainstorming what my habits should be so that I can prioritize reading more, spend less time on my phone. I'm gonna be seeing how much I can read when I'm doing those things. And then I'm also just gonna be, sort of getting out of this weird slump, finishing a book, picking a new book. All the things will be happening in this video, and I am really excited to take you along for all of them. What I'm currently reading is Finders Keepers by Stephen King. This is the second book in the Bill Hodges trilogy, which the first one is called Mr. Mercedes. I am a big Stephen King fan. I love the way that he writes stories in a way that's sort of literary fiction, but it's still super engaging, and there's still a plot happening and you really get to know the characters, but there's still a plot. Does that make sense? Like, sometimes with thrillers you get more of just the plot heavy side of things, but I personally really like to know the characters, even if they're unlikable and they're supposed to be bad guys. I want to know them and I want to know how their brain works and what makes them tick. And so I love that Stephen King writes stories in a way where you kind of get the character work and character development within a mystery, thriller, horror, etc. So I'm gonna be finishing Finders Keepers this week, and hopefully I'll be picking a new book after that. And I also would love to make sure that my reading journal is up to date and all the things. So I guess this video is sort of gonna be my monthly reset, except I'm gonna do it vlog style instead of all in one day. So hope you're excited to come along. I will update you when I can. Alrighty, it is a couple days later, and I have about 70 pages left of Finders Keepers by Stephen King. I am super enjoying this book. It is really different from the first one as far as the plot. This, I feel like, would be considered a literary thriller. It is surrounding books and authors and writing, but it's also a lot more slow paced, and there's only been like one gory scene. Actually, no, there's been 2 gory scenes, but compared to some of the other ones that I have read by him, it's like very mild. And I'm very interested to see how it's gonna end, because I know this is a trilogy and I feel like some things might not be resolved in the 70 pages, so we'll see if I'm correct about that. But I am planning to finish this today and then pick a new book. As far as my habits go, I have been really good about not being on my phone. Yesterday and this morning a little bit I was on it for probably longer than I should have been, but my plan today is to leave my phone in phone jail. Basically, I just stick my phone in the linen closet in my hallway so that I don't see it and I don't pick it up, and I'm trying to stay off of it as much as I can today. I don't have to go anywhere. My husband and I are doing like a movie date night tonight, but other than that I have no plans except for reading, and I have already done some chores, so I feel like I can kind of focus on reading and not really having these like this to-do list kind of looming over my head. So we're gonna finish Finders Keepers by Stephen King. Okay, I have finished Finders Keepers by Stephen King, which is the second book in the Mr. Mercedes trilogy. I thoroughly enjoyed this book. First of all, this one starts off with a catastrophic event where somebody runs a Mercedes over a group of people and nobody has ever caught the person that has done that, and so we're following an ex-cop who, through a series of events, basically gets to trying to figure out who the guy was and trying to catch him. Well, this book is a different plot because we're following the same ex-cop and a few of his friends as they're trying to solve another mystery, but it is tied to the event that happens at the beginning of this book. So you probably could read this on its own and be fine, but I think it would make a lot more sense and be a bit more impactful if you've read the first one. So I suggest reading them in order for sure. This one is a lot more slow. It reminded me a lot of Misery, which is a very literary horror. This is definitely more on the literary side, and at the very end, like the last 70 pages or so that I read were extremely fast-paced, and I think I caught some of my reactions as I was reading because I literally had some jaw drop moments where things were happening that I just did not expect, and I really loved that. I think that something that's super unique about this series in general is that it's not a classic whodunit because you already know who the bad guy is before you even start the book. It's kind of like a race against time. You're getting all these different perspectives. You get the perspective of the bad guy. In this case, there's multiple of them. You're getting the perspective of the detective and what he's up to, and eventually all of it ties together at the end. But that was what was so exciting for me because you are watching this story unfold and you already know the information, but the people that need to know the information don't know the information. And you're hoping that they're going to figure it out before it's too late. And it just was such a brilliant story. I think Stephen King is an amazing writer. He writes characters that are believable. Also, like, brilliant is the word that keeps coming to mind because I don't know how he comes up with this stuff. I think that Stephen King might be my favorite author, to be very honest with you, and some of the big books that he has written, like The Stand, It, The Shining, all that kind of stuff that most people have heard of, I haven't read them yet, and I have them on my shelf and I'm really hoping to get to them soon. But I'm here to tell you that I just think he's amazing. So if you want a good thriller recommendation, start the Mr. Mercedes trilogy because you're gonna get that thriller mystery vibe without it necessarily being horror. And there's definitely some hard, heavy stuff in here because that's just the way that Stephen King writes. But if you have the right mindset to read some of the hard things, I think that you're gonna love the story at the end of it. So I am rating Finders Keepers 4 stars, which is really exciting to say. I didn't really know what I was gonna think of it at the end, and it definitely makes me want to go buy the third book like right now. Now I need to figure out what I'm reading next, and I honestly have no idea what I'm in the mood for. I think that I'm gonna take a break from reading right now and I'm gonna watch some booktube while I update my reading journal, and then I'm gonna come back and pick a book. Okay, I'm looking a little bit crazy because I'm about to go to the pool, so I didn't fix my hair or anything. But last night I was having a hard time figuring out what I wanted to read next, and I ended up picking up The Woods by Harlan Coben. And this is about a man whose sister was involved in a tragic event several years ago. She and 3 other people went into the woods, went missing. 2 of the bodies were found, 2 of them were never found. Another thing happens more recently, and the man identifies the body from that accident as one of the people that was missing from this event several years ago. It's sort of like a legal thriller because the main character is a prosecutor, so there's some talk about some of the cases he's working on, but also this like thing that's happening based on his personal story that he's trying to figure out when new information is coming up. And I'm really enjoying the writing. It's kind of fast to go through. However, because I'm about to go to the pool, I am feeling like reading something a little bit lighter and more fluffy. I thought maybe I was in the mood for a YA fantasy, but I have decided I'm going to start reading Book Lovers by Emily Henry. Now, I did read this when it first came out. Actually, when my husband and I traveled to Mexico, I brought this and read it on the trip. And at the time, it was not my favorite of Emily Henry's. I don't think that it will be a top favorite, but it was one of those situations where I kind of don't remember a lot of the story. I don't know why. It's kind of like blocked from my memory, and I've been wanting to reread this one as if I have never read it before. And so it's been on my shelf to read, but it's never been the right time. And for some reason, I'm just really wanting to read this because Great Big Beautiful Life didn't work for me in the way that I wanted it to, and I really miss Emily Henry's writing. So I'm gonna reread Book Lovers, and I'm gonna take it to the pool, and I'm really excited to read this by the pool. I think it's gonna be the perfect combo. Okay, two things. My camera looks like it's about to die, so hopefully I can finish this clip. Second, there's a neighbor with their kids outside and they're playing, so it might be loud. And I don't know if you're gonna be able to hear them or not, but I'm gonna try to give you a quick update. I am about 80 pages into Book Lovers by Emily Henry. I am really enjoying this. I wouldn't say that I am obsessed with it. This is my second time reading it. The first time I rated it 4 stars, enjoying the setting and the rom-comming side of this one, but I'm not as connected to the characters, so I think that's why I'm not like obsessed with it. But again, I'm only 80 pages in and it's probably 400-ish pages, just under, so I've got a ways to go. And Emily Henry never does anything wrong with her books. I always love her writing. Even if it's not a favorite, I still end up always really loving her books. So I'm really excited to see what I'm gonna think as I continue reading this the second time around. I have been busy all day. I'm about to take a bath and read my book in the bath, and then probably get in bed early because we were up super late last night and had to get up really early this morning, and I am tired. So far, I guess the update on the actual book is that the main character, Nora, has gone to a small town with her sister to sort of rekindle their relationship. There's been some like weird vibes going on, but Nora can't really figure out exactly what the weird vibes are from. And she's the big sister, so she has this like protective instinct. She feels like she always needs to fix the problems that her sister is facing. And so she agrees to go on this little small town trip with her sister to rekindle their relationship, to have some fun. Of course, there's a rivals slash enemies to lovers thing going on because she runs into her professional nemesis, who is a editor for authors. Nora is a literary agent, so they often kind of work together, but she and him don't like each other, and so she runs into him in the small town. Turns out he's from the small town, and so it's kind of an unexpected thing that she's gonna have to be talking with him and seeing him at random places while they're on the trip. That's really as far as I have gone, but 80 pages in, hoping to read maybe 50 pages tonight before I hit the hay, and tomorrow I should be able to read a good chunk. Guys, I am in a reading slump. I did not want this vlog to turn into getting out of a reading slump with me, because I feel like a few videos ago I did that. I just do not care about Book Lovers. It was not my favorite when I first read it. I don't connect to the characters very well, so I can't really tell if it's just that Book Lovers is not for me or if I'm in a genuine slump. And I'm kind of leaning more towards a genuine slump, because when I finished Finders Keepers at the beginning of this video, once I finished that book, I had a really hard time deciding what I was gonna read, and I was sort of feeling like, oh no, if I pick the wrong thing, I'm gonna get into a slump, and I've gotten into a slump. So we're gonna try to turn this around today. I don't have any plans except tonight we're having dinner with my family. I need to run to Publix. Well, I did a pickup order, so don't actually have to go in, but I do need to drive like 5 minutes down the road to pick up my Publix order at some point today. Other than that, I'm putting my phone away and I'm going to try to figure out this reading slump. What's so frustrating is that the only book I can think of right now that I really want to read, I don't even have. It's called End of Watch. It's the third book in the Mr. Mercedes trilogy, and I do not have it. So that is not an option, and it's not available on Libby right now because I already checked. I'm thinking that I need to try a few different things. Either need to find a quick thriller type book because I don't have End of Watch, or I need to go back to my roots, which is historical fiction. I haven't read historical fiction in a while because I haven't felt like I'm in the mood for it. Maybe this is my sign. Maybe I need to pick up historical fiction again. It is typically my favorite genre. I just don't know. It's just so frustrating. I think I'm gonna pull some books, sit with a few of them, and see how I'm feeling. First, I'm gonna go dry my hair and fix my hair because sometimes that just changes my mood, so I'm gonna go do that, and then I'll come back and talk about whatever books I am going to choose from. Alright, I want to pull some books from my shelf and see what I might be in the mood for. First one that I am thinking of right now is Where the Lost Wander by Amy Harmon. This is a historical fiction taking place in 1853. It's like a wagon train, like during the wagon train while they're like moving across the country. I have this on my Kindle actually, and I read the first few pages on my Kindle and liked it so much that I had to buy the physical copy. And I just have a feeling I'm really gonna love this one. I really enjoyed What the Wind Knows, and her writing is really beautiful. And so I know that I'm gonna love this. I see amazing things about this author. The other one that I might choose is called The Exiles by Christina Baker Klein. I also have read The Orphan Train by this author and I loved it. The Orphan Train is about the trains that would go from the East Coast to like the Midwest to bring orphans from immigrant families to basically foster / adopt them. And so it follows this one girl's perspective. She came from an Irish family, so you get kind of her background and like what's it like coming to the States during this time specifically. I learned a lot through this book, but I really enjoyed it, and so I found The Exiles used at the used bookstore. This is about people who are basically exiled to Australia when England was sending all of their prisoners there. It follows 3 different perspectives of different people, and it sounds very interesting to me. I've never read anything about that area in the world, especially during this time period, so I'm very interested in that one. Other one that might be a good pick for me is Salt of the Sea by Ruta Sepetys. I cannot remember how to say this author's name, and I've looked it up so many times. I really enjoyed Between Shades of Grey by this author. This was one of my first 5-star reads of the year, and it's YA historical fiction. So this might actually be a good pick for me because the chapters are really short. Because it's YA, it's gonna read a little bit quicker, and it still has a historical fiction element that I love in books, so this is going on my potentials list for sure. Okay, now I'm gonna choose a handful of thrillers that I might want to read. First is 5 Survive by Holly Jackson. This is following a group of 5 friends, I believe. They're on an RV trip from Philadelphia to Gulf Shores, or vice versa, but it's basically a cross-country trip as a group of friends for spring break, and stuff happens on the trip, so it's gonna be like a claustrophobic kind of locked room vibe, because to my understanding it's all taking place in one place, which is the RV. So this might be a good option. Another thing that I might like is Hairpin Bridge by Taylor Adams. This is the author of No Exit, which I read and really enjoyed, and that was a extremely fast-paced thriller. There is stuff happening on every single page. This is a pretty short one, and I don't know too much about it. I've seen people not loving this as much as some of his other books, but it might work for me with this reading slump, trying to like read something that's really engaging. Another thriller would be Kill for Me, Kill for You. This, I believe, is two different women who meet up, basically wanting, each person wants somebody in their life killed, and so they agree to kill the other person's person. Does that make sense? Killing for the other person. So kill for me, kill for you, I guess. I don't know much about this. I've seen people enjoy it. I'm adding it to my stack. A book that I've had on my shelf for a really long time is The Memory Police. This is by Yoko Agawa. I hope that I am saying that name correctly. I believe it's a sci-fi thriller. Like, people start forgetting what random objects are, or they start having memories about them. All those few able to recall the lost objects live in fear of the draconian memory police, are committed to ensuring that what has disappeared remains forgotten. This might be a good one to change up my genres. Something that actually might be a good read for me, I'm just realizing, is Killers of a Certain Age by Deanna Raybourn. She just released a second book in this series, and I really want to read it, but it's been so long since I read the first one that I've been wanting to read this first one again before getting the second book. And I loved this. This is like, if you like Thursday Murder Club vibes, it's following old people who are retired assassins basically, and they have one last mission they have to do. And I remember it being really funny, and like I couldn't put it down when I was reading it. So this might actually be a good read for me, because sometimes with reading slumps, reading something familiar in a reread and something that I already know I'm gonna love is what works for me. I'm adding this to my stack. I feel like my stack is just growing and growing and growing. A book that earlier in the video, when I was trying to find a book originally, I had started The Lying Game by Ruth Ware, and I was really enjoying it, but I ultimately decided on Book Lovers, which, as we know, was not working for me. So I'm gonna add this because maybe I actually do want to read it. I think that I've got a pretty good stack right now. I've got a pretty large stack of books to choose from, 9 books on here, so hopefully one of these will work. Well, it's been like almost a week, I think, since I have updated this vlog, but I have continued reading. My husband had a birthday. We've had a lot of things going on, and honestly, it's been very difficult for me to find the time to read. And I think at the beginning of this vlog, I said that it was going to be a prioritizing reading over other things when I have the opportunity to do that. And I can't lie, there are a few moments I found myself scrolling on my phone when I don't need to be. But for the most part, my busyness has been things that I can't really control, and it's okay for me to give my time to those things and to be present. Today, I went to the bookstore. Had a chiropractor appointment, went to the bookstore, had a coffee, and did a quiet time. Kind of just got to sat there and have some me time for a little bit, which was really nice and needed. And I came home with one book, which I'll show you in a minute. I have about 120-ish pages left, 130 pages left of Killers of a Certain Age. Tomorrow I am having an ultimate bookish day, which is going to have its own video, but for the sake of this vlog, I really want to see if I can finish my book today, and then the next video is probably going to be my ultimate bookish day, which you will see. I am just very eager to finish this book. I'm enjoying it. It's doing what I needed it to do. I feel like it's helping me not be in a reading slump. I've been so busy, I feel like I haven't even been thinking about it, so I don't really know what that says. I think I rated this 5 stars when I first read it. I don't know if it'll still be 5 stars, but I still really love it and still enjoy it and still recommend. Okay, the book that I brought home today is One Golden Summer by Carly Fortune. I have not ever been super interested in her books, to be honest with you, but The cover of this is gorgeous, and I read like the first 2 sentences and I immediately wanted to keep reading this book. So I decided to bring it home from the bookstore, and I'm really excited because Beach Read is like the only lake romance that I have read, and I kind of am wanting more of those vibes, so we will see. Apparently the main character is a photographer. I used to be a photographer. I guess it's always ingrained in my mind, but I used to do it as a job, so I am hoping that I'm gonna really enjoy this and I think that it's gonna be fun. Now I'm gonna try to finish Colors of a Certain Age. I usually read about 100 pages a day, so we'll see if I actually get to finishing it, but I'm gonna challenge myself to try to finish this today. I'll keep you posted. Last night I finished Killers of a Certain Age, and I have decided to leave this unrated this time since it is a reread for me. I was sort of feeling like I was done reading it with the last 150 pages, but because I read it before, I basically just kind of wanted to push through so that I could say I've read a book this month because my slump / being busy has kept me from meeting the goal of reading the next number of books that I want to read for the month of June. So what I did was find the audiobook on Spotify, and I listened to it, this is gonna sound crazy, at 2.5 times speed, but when you're reading along with it, it was super doable, so I kind of just flew through the last 150 pages. I'm glad I finished it because it feels nice to kind of check a box, but I think that my slumpy feelings are not the book's fault. Obviously, I was reading Book Lovers earlier in this vlog and it wasn't working for me, so I think I'm just in a weird reading mood where I'm really motivated to read, but it's hard for me to figure out exactly what I want to read, so I don't really know if that's an actual slump or not. But regardless, I finished this, and another book that I finished in this video that I forgot to even tell you about was I finished The Third Gilmore Girl by Kelly Bishop. I really loved listening to this book. I think she did an incredible job narrating it. It was super entertaining, and I wish that she had more story to tell because I was kind of sad when it was over. So if you love Gilmore Girls, theater, and Broadway, just the arts of the mid 1900s when she was kind of growing up, I really recommend listening to it. And even if you don't like Gilmore Girls, I think that it would be very entertaining to listen to. So I did finish a good many books in this video, and I think that's a win. So I'm gonna officially close this out, and I have a really exciting video coming next. Hopefully you'll enjoy that, so stay tuned. I'm excited to share it with you. But either way, thank you so much for being here. Thank you for watching this video, for spending some time with me. I hope that you got some sort of inspiration for reading, or maybe you heard about a book you haven't heard about before. Either way, I hope that you're having a good day, and I'll see you later. Bye, friends.